Hello to all our visitors. Thanks for tuning in, Jacob. So I see that you guys had a little media day today for the UP Maroons. How did that go?
Yeah, it was cool. We had a little shoot with Converge, and it was great. It's fun.
Fantastic. And what did you guys do? Any interviews? Any special thing coming out with Converge shortly?
Yeah. I'll just keep it at that. We just did a little something, for Converge and helping our sponsors because they really treat us right and give us the right stuff that we need.
Coach Chris, you're currently in the Philippines working on some partnerships. Tell us more about that.
Oh yeah, you know what? It's been a great week so far. May know, I may not know. Kind of put myself in the route of the volleyball world. I've brought some pretty good hitters for the Philippine national volleyball team for men's and women, and preparing now the beach side of volleyball for the national program, and just building relationships within the volleyball community to help continue the spread of the amazing sport it is as we continue to evolve in a good way, in a good direction, so that you know volleyball can be another sport that many more young kids can be inspired to play here in the Philippines.
Got that. Thanks for telling us, Coach. Now let's go to Jacob before I go back to Coach Chris here. Jacob, how have you been adjusting to the UP Fighting Maroons since arriving in the Philippines? I'm sure you watched a lot of their games while you were still in California. I'm sure that you might have imagined in your mind how you would fit in Coach Goldwyn's system. But now that you are here, how is it going for you? Do you feel like you're fitting in quite seamlessly with the
Mm.
Fighting Maroons? Do you feel
Right.
like, in terms of your role in the team, there's specific things that you now have to do?
Yeah. So when I first landed here, right away, my teammates and all the coaching staff, they welcome me with open arms, and I feel like that's like part of the reason I committed there because, I feel like it's home. Like they're just helping me adjust right away, especially my coaches and my teammates. Like, giving me pointers, doing this and that. I'm just really happy they, yeah, like what I said, opened me with open arms, and I'm really thankful and grateful that that happened, and they're really nice to me.
Happy to hear it. Hello to some of our usuals. Enzo now in the house. Also, Karina, thank you as well. Coach Chris says, shout out to the Fil-Am family, Ate Eve and Kuya Jing. Exactly. Jacob, just to add to the UP factor, how do you adjust your game where you're playing for a high school in California where you have the ball a lot of the time, you're
Yeah.
getting a huge chunk of the minutes, and now here you are kind of having to insert yourself into a team that's deep, that's loaded. You're not exactly going to get the same
Mm.
amount of minutes, same amount of touches that you usually do or
Mhm.
you got used to.
Yeah.
Is that a bit of a difficult transition for you, or do you actually like knowing that you don't have to score so much and
Right.
your team still has a great chance to win?
Yeah. First of all, our team is like absolutely talented and skillful. Part of the reason I chose this team is, play under Coach Gold and his system. So, this is what I signed up for. And Coach Gold has been talking to me, telling me, Jacob, it's okay if you don't have good games. Just play your heart out and, yeah, do your thing. Whenever I get on that floor, just, show what I have. And he just told me to stay patient and always be ready for when that time comes. And it's my turn. So he's been real open about it, and just keeps on preaching to me to stay confident and stay ready.
Awesome. I'm happy to hear it. And by the way, to those tuning in, if you guys want to ask questions for Jacob or Coach Chris, feel free to come on the stage and ask them or send your questions in the comment box. You will have to register and log in an account and a name to get to ask questions. So for our visitors who want to participate, feel free to log in so that you can ask your questions. Now let's go to Coach Chris. Coach Chris, over the last few years, we've really seen Phil-Am Nation play a part in bringing in recruits for the college basketball scene and the volleyball scene and the other sports too. I want to focus a little bit here on the college basketball side of things. Just guys like Jacob Bayla, Alex Konov, Zane Mahmoud, Sean Alter, Xavier Lucero, Henry Galinato, who are now standouts in the PBA. All these guys you've brought in, all high quality guys. What's the process like when you decide you're going to have one of your talents sent from the United States to the Philippines? What do you tell them in advance? How do you prepare them? And do you feel like, especially after you guys won NBTC last year, that you're making a profound impact in the Philippine sports scene?
Yeah, so obviously every process is different. I have to say that. you know, when really trying to educate not only the athletes but the families, because this is a huge transition as they go from the U.S. to Manila and even elsewhere from around the world to Manila. It's definitely a big transition for them to really think it through, really sit on it, pray on it, and most of all talk about it. But my team, and we do a very good job, coming from all directions to kind of prepare them mentally. Obviously we participated in these March events for the NBTC, so that's a good, stepping stone as they move forward to seeing what the Philippine basketball is like. I believe that, once they arrive in Manila and understand the landscape, from the weather to the food to the way they're going to live, the conditions of, their environment. It's a huge adjustment. So it takes a pretty long process, and we don't just try to jump the gun and say, hey, you're going from the States to Manila right away. No, we want to make sure throughout that process, we try to educate them about everything that they need to know and ensuring that, number one, they got their Philippine passport, because we don't want any athletes coming to the Philippines without one, due to the restrictions when it comes down to holding an American passport. You can only stay here for 30 days. So with the Philippine passport, we just try to educate them that you can stay longer when you do have one. So with all that being said, I mean, it makes the whole process a lot easier when they can take all that information in, and then from there, as they step into the Philippine country, we have a supporting team that also help facilitate anything that they may need, so that things are easier in transition when they go into the dorms, when they go into their condos, the transportation, everything from banking. So all that, all the logistics, is a big thing that even us as an organization, we're always constantly trying to improve on, because this is only 2-3 years old for us, and so we just want to make things seamless in the future. But we know there's always things that causes some hiccups, and we want to be ready for those hiccups. But other than that, I think we've done a great job as an organization. Really educating the importance of the options that they have and the opportunities, not just in the U.S. or any countries abroad, but to just keep an open mind so that they can make a huge difference in elevating the basketball game here in the Philippines.
Got that. Thanks for that information, Coach Chris. I want to say hello to some of our usual spectators. Basketball PH in the house. Mika, also a diehard UP fan, in the house too. Now let's go to Jacob here. Jacob, what part of your game do you think is going to transition the most in your time in the UAAP?
Definitely my ability to play hard. Just that's what I can control my effort and the way I know the game and feel the game, and just being that dog on the team. Coming in as a freshman, just having that confidence to step up and play hard and play smart. That's what I can do. Yeah.
Now you're coming in with a pretty loaded class. You're coming in at the same time as Jaden Jones, FEU, Alex Konov, DLSU, Zain Mahmood, UST. Of course, your guy Sean Alters already at UP in his
Yeah.
second season, and you're coming in as this Fil-Am select group that has the potential to change your collegiate game. You're all coming in at a similar age, at a similar
Right.
time, and
Yeah.
years from now we might look back at all of you coming in at the same time as one of the greatest batch of rookie recruits that the UAP basketball
Uh,
has ever seen. But off the court, what's your relationship with these guys like? And does your friendship off the court kind of make you want to beat them more when you guys go head to head on the court?
Of course, those are my best friends. Just the relationships built through basketball is like you never know. Like you could meet those people, like Alex from New Jersey, James from Vegas, and Zane's from Canada. Like it's just awesome to see like all my friends are playing basketball in the Philippines with me, and it's nice for them to be there as well because going to a new country, to a new place. Like that's who I can lean on, my best friends. So, and I get to play against them too. So I'm really excited for that.
Who are you most excited to go up against from those guys? I'm gonna guess it's Zane because Zane loves to trash talk the most. But is there
It,
someone
for sure,
specifically you want
Zane.
to go up with?
For sure,
Right.
Zane. Definitely Alex too, because I haven't played against Alex in a while. But I want to play against all of them. But especially Zane.
Another guy
Zane.
you're coming in with is Jared Bahay. A lot of the
Yeah.
teammates and opponents you're gonna face are guys you were with in that
Right.
FIBA team in the under
Yeah.
16 and under 18. Coach Chris, when you see the boys develop from a young age to where they are now, where they're ready to become young men rather than just boys, and they're about to represent these educational institutions, they're about to represent the values of what Fil-Nation Select is about in the United States. How significant is that for you? Because you've really guided these guys from the early stages of their careers.
You know what? It's huge. I'm not gonna take all the credit. I mean, obviously, a lot of these guys have come from different clubs, different programs, different trainers. I gotta give those people some credit as well. I'm just a piece of the journey that they partake in, and I think what's important right now is just them showing the skill set that they are very talented, that they can help elevate the game overall as a group, with players not just in the UAP, but also in the NCAA. It just shows that, we want to do things the positive way, the right way, and understand that, opportunities are going to be given to these amazing athletes that put in the work. And if you listen to the right people, has the right credibility, who's been doing it now for quite a while, it only makes things easier for many of these families and these athletes. So I'm truly proud to see that, from afar, and that's the excitement part is, just watching from afar the growth that they become as young adults to, be able to put themselves in a competitive environment, especially in the UAP and the NCAA. So they got things to prove, and I'm hoping that they can, do their part.
What else do you have in store in terms of growing Philippine sports? I know you're helping out in the volleyball scene, but you guys are also playing your hand a little bit when it comes to baseball and football. Am I right? And you're doing both men's and women's divisions.
That's correct. So, the ultimate goal as an organization is to become the premier platform. There's a lot of things that we still got to continue to build within our organization in terms of structure, in terms of, ability to communicate with all of our directors around the world due to the time differences. But overall, I mean, we want to make sure we get our hands in every sport in order to support not just the national program, but the collegiate levels, and then potentially seeing Filipino athletes from Australia, from New Zealand, from Canada, from Europe, from the Middle East, and of course the U.S. to see them not just play in the Philippines, but also become, high profile athletes as Filipinos. So if we can consider ourselves as a premier platform, as an organization, I think we got something very special, 5 years, 10 years down the line, to continue to support those programs here in the Philippines.
Gotcha. All right, let's turn to Jacob now. Here we have a question from Mika, who is one of the most hardcore UP fans you will find, and I'm sure you'll get to meet her at the game soon enough, Jacob. How was your experience with the UP community so far? What are your favorite moments, and what has been the hardest things to deal with?
My experience with the UP community always been great. I've never had a hard time because all of them are super happy and excited, to meet us and just to to take pictures and ask us questions. I really love the UP community. Like, there's nothing to really complain about. We actually did an event with the UP OASD. It was a kids camp. It was like a training thing. It was like nice to be a coach and coach the little guys, teach them some things, and it was just a great community event for the UPOASD, and I really love the UP community. There's nothing really hard to deal with. Just keep on supporting us and keep on coming to the games because that's what we need.
Fantastic. If you guys have any more questions for Jacob or Coach Cris Gopez, feel free to ask them on the comment box. You're also welcome to come on the stage and ask them here. Ask them yourselves. If you want to send the question in the comment box or come on the stage, you will have to log in with an account. So hope you guys can do that, especially to the 7 visitors, and subscribe to the Navs Effect on playback. Jacob, I have to ask. I know you've faced some of the UAAP teams in the Phil Oil tournament already so far, but which team particularly are you most looking forward to going up against?
Team that I want to go against is probably De La Salle University.
Why is that so? Why DLSU?
First off, my boy Alex is there, and they're the defending champions. They won the UAP title last year, so it's great to play that level of competition, and just to play against the champions. That kind of hurts that we lost the championship last year, but it's another opportunity to do something great.
Do you feel like you guys come into this season as the deepest and most talented team in the UAAP?
I feel so. We have a lot of talent. We have a lot of guys that step up and willing to do their role. There's no really this guy. Everyone can have their own night. It's like pick your own poison for our team, and I just want to be that fire for the team and support and play good.
All right, thanks for that, Jacob. Let's now go to Coach Chris. Coach Chris, you've studied the Philippine sports scene a lot over the last few years. Now, we have the passion for sports that can match the passion of fans from any country, in my opinion. The question is when it comes to the performance. I mean, we saw the Gilas youth and how they performed in the recent World Cup. It really was a wake up call in terms of where we are with competition compared to the rest of the world. Now, they are competing right now and regionally, and they're doing a good job of it. But in terms of overall, just not just basketball, but even the other sports, what do you think are the steps that Philippine sports programs can take so that we can get closer to competing with the best of the best?
Well, I think it really starts with our grassroots, really trying to help educate more of our young coaches out there that are doing their job to develop these athletes. I think what's also important is that, giving them the resources to be able to grow these young athletes and the knowledge to help them better understand the game. But what's also important is just to find more inspiration from the older athletes, whether they're the PBA, the collegiate level, to really inspire. I know there's a lot of love for the game, but the interaction between coaches, some high profile basketball athletes, or any sports athlete is a real must to really try to interject the love and the fun of the and excitement of the game, and so I think if there's a collaboration, more collaboration, not just because they're being told to do it, but actually doing it for the love of it and say, hey, you know what? I'm gonna do it on my own time, and I'm gonna go out there and really put some time into the community. That's a big piece to really making people feel like they're wanted and making sure that the development aspect is, something that young kids can say, you know what, this is something I want to grow and I want to be better at my craft. And so between the coaches and the players, it's all definitely important that there's more activities being done, not just in the game aspect, but the development aspect of it.
Thank you for that, Coach Chris. Let's get to a question here. This is for Jacob. What do you guys and players in general do to deal with nerves and pressure of games? Is there anything specific that helps, or do you have to just calm yourselves down and power through it? Give us an insight on this, Jacob, because it's a very interesting question.
Yeah, so I always try to be calm before games, and I feel like that's the rest of our team. Before every game, we pray and we talk out what our game plan is going to be, and then I feel like everyone just listens to music, try to calm themselves down. For me, especially, like I put on some like R&B, old R&B,
Mm.
just to calm my nerves, and because I don't really like to play like fired up. I just like to play calm and trust that my work will lead me through the game and God will lead me through the game. So yeah, listening to music and then praying before games is how I get ready for the game.
Got that interesting answer there. Now, Jacob, what's life like when you're a varsity athlete in the Philippines? Do you go to classes like in classrooms already? Is it all online so far for now?
Well,
And
yeah,
yeah, go for it.
yeah. So right now we just been training, and practicing, playing some games, tune-up games. I actually played Alex Cabagno yesterday and the Taiwan Mustangs. So that was pretty cool to play against my coach and Coach Kavina. Yeah, we just been playing up tune-up games. We recently just came from Serbia. It was a great experience, playing against some pro teams and training there. It's just a whole different landscape, and it's cool to see like basketball around the world and how like they do things differently. And yeah, so we have trips going to Korea. So hopefully that'll be great. And we just been training and getting better and getting our chemistry up as a team.
Awesome. Hello to JM, who is now here in the episode tuning in right now. Thanks for tuning in, JM. Okay, let's go to Coach Chris here. Coach Chris, you have been a huge proponent of growing the women's game in the basketball scene for a while now. What are the factors about women's basketball, especially when it comes to the women's basketball athletes or the Phil foreign women's basketball athletes, that you feel a lot of people are sleeping on, and why they should pay attention more to it?
Well, the number one thing about young ladies abroad, is that they have all the resources. They have the ability to compete weekend after weekend, playing against the best. There's a lot of players currently right now that are playing the shoe circuits, the EYBL, the Under Armour circuit, the Adidas circuit. So when it comes to competition, they're already experiencing that. They're experiencing the level of strength, the level of speed, the level of being able to go one on one, learning how to defend the best players. Give you an example when you have a Naomi Pagganiban who's out there competing at a high level. Throughout her whole development, she's competed against the best. She actually had two players on her high school team that actually played for Team USA. So, to be able to play that every day at practice, to play alongside with those type of players, these are things that we have to identify what players are abroad outside of the Philippines who are playing at that level, developing themselves to prepare themselves to even play at the Division One level in these states. Now, as you identify those athletes that are in that direction of playing in the Division One level, then we can say, hey, you know what? These are the horses and the stallions that we want for our national program to represent the Philippine country. We got to be real. I mean, at the end of the day, what are we doing it for? For the gold. We want to win gold medals. I get it. We want to try to save, the locals but for me personally, Filipino is Filipino, and it's not anybody's fault if they were born abroad. So in my eyes, as a leader, my job is to represent every single Filipino, whether they're born in the Philippines or they're born abroad. They're all Filipino descent, Filipino. And to me, that's what I'm proud to say that when I'm helping Filipino athletes, these are the things that I want to make sure that are representing the Philippines the right way.
Got it. Of course, a very admirable mindset to have when it comes to finding hidden gems with Filipino talent. We have a question here from Akio for Jacob. Akio, thanks for tuning in. Much appreciated. Jacob, who is someone from the Fighting Maroons who you've seen from practices that you think is actually underrated and could break out in UAP season 87 this year?
Well, I have two guys that I have in mind. One is Terrence Fortea. I heard he was I think sidelined last year for due to injuries, but he's a dog. He lights out shooter, can hit the three anywhere on the court, and I just feel like that's going to translate towards the next season. And the second player is definitely Raylan Torres, a
Mm,
dog. He picks up 94. He gives that energy, and he really helps me out, especially during practices and getting to know the plays. And I see him in the gym all the time, and it's actually inspiring. So I feel like he's going to break out next season.
awesome. Great to hear it. Excited to see how Rayland and Terrence play for the UP Maroons this coming season, especially Terrence. He's been hit with the injury bug the last few years. Let's get to some questions here. Okay, Sir Boss. I don't know who Sir Boss is, but might be someone you both know because you're laughing out loud right now. Jacob, I know the answer to this question. I do. I do. She's actually been mentioned here in the last few minutes. Jacob, is there someone special in your life? Who is it?
Can't answer that question. I can't answer that question.
I mean, it could be
What kind?
anyone. You could
Kind
say
of?
Coach Chris is
Yeah,
special
yeah,
in your
yeah,
life.
yeah,
Your
yeah, yeah.
mom is
My
special in your
mom, my
life.
mom, my
There
mom.
you go. Hey,
I love my
that
mom.
is the right answer right there.
Hi, mom. I hope you're watching. You're my special person in my life.
Jacob, I am curious about something. I really want to know. Who would win one on one between you and Naomi Panganiban?
Me.
Oh, really?
Same question to Chris.
Chris, what's your answer? Naomi or Jacob? Who wins one on one?
One on one, man. You know what? Jacob may have the height, but Naomi got that good step back.
Jacob, you agree or disagree?
Jacob,
Everybody's entitled to their own opinion, so I can't really.
yeah.
All right, there's another question here from Kayla. A question from her mom, actually. So, what course do you want to take, Jacob? Are you excited to attend classes when school begins?
I'll be taking sports science. Yeah, and I'm excited to go to class. Get my degree, get good grades.
Awesome. Hello to RC. RC, one of the regulars of the Navs Effect on
Sir
Playback. Thanks for
boss.
tuning in. Go and send your questions, RC. And to the 7 visitors right now of the show, hope you guys could subscribe, log in and subscribe. And guess what? You can ask questions. Coach Chris, tell us some about the players, male or female, to watch out for who will be playing college basketball in the Philippines soon enough.
I know we got one of our Phil-Am talent, Liam Romero, who's at De La Salle with Alec. QMB, he's a veteran. He's a veteran athlete that played under Jerry Stackhouse at the University of Vanderbilt. So, I know he'll be making some noise. But overall, I want to include just everyone that's, been part of our organization that, you know, really entrusted what we've done to help them, be a part of our organization, but also kind of navigate them in the whole process of playing college basketball in the Philippines. But I wish everybody good luck, and I think not just guys like Jacob and Sean. I mean, I know all these guys work hard and they got something to prove, and not just for themselves, but just to be able to help elevate. For me, as a leader of an organization, especially dealing with basketball, I just want to see these athletes just continue to get better at their craft. Make it enjoyable for the fans. As if they make it fun and exciting, hoping that that can translate into the PBA at some point to bring more fans back. So if they can do good things in the UAP or NCAA, that can bring some more excitement in the PBA somewhere down the road.
Okay, good question here from Enzo. Jacob, what is your pregame routine like? How different is it that now you're hooping in the Philippines?
It's pretty much the same like back in the States. I mean, I take a shower before the game and then, just get ready on the way to the game and then, lock in. My pregame routine starts when I, wake up for sure. Make sure I get a good meal. And yeah, that's pretty much it. Pray and listen to music. So,
Good question here. How do you deal
yeah.
with pressure, especially in the UAP where it will be a hostile environment when you go up against the other schools?
How will I deal with pressure? No, they said pressure builds diamonds, and I feel like I'm ready for that pressure. Because I got God by my side. Nothing is like impossible without God. So I feel like He just guide me through. If I have a bad day, there's nothing to worry about. Because at the end of the day, it's just basketball. It's a sport. You love basketball. Yeah, that's how I feel like I deal with the pressure. Like we just get back up and keep going. Work harder.
Yes,
Yeah.
sir. Work hard. Got to. Good basketball related question here, and I want both Jacob and Coach Chris to answer this. Mika says her mom mentioned recently it seems like basketball has been going to an old school style of play, meaning it's a lot rougher, dirtier. What are your thoughts and views on that? Do you guys agree with that? Let's start with you, Coach Chris, and let's get to Jacob.
You know what? It's always fun to see these kids get a little rough, hoping that the referees can control the game. But the great thing about the game of basketball is that it's become soft. So to come back to where it's a bit physical, in your face, talk a little trash. That's what makes the game fun, right? And so I'm really ecstatic to see what's to come this year, especially this upcoming UAP and also the NCAA. So to see what these athletes can do, especially with their talent, I mean, I don't mind some type of physicality. I don't mind seeing a little blood, here and there. Some elbows in the chest. You know, face to face, in your face, talking a bunch of trash. That makes the game exciting, and I'm all about watching that. And so I think these kids gotta understand that. Back in the days in the '70s and '80s, that's how the game was. So to bring a little bit of that, it's gonna give some taste to the game and some flavor, and that's what I'm hoping to see.
Fantastic. How about you, Jacob? Do you feel like basketball recently has gotten a little more rough? Maybe for you, especially since you've come to the Philippines now, it's a little more rough here, right? And people try to get away more with the cheap shots, the little elbows and push offs and whatnot.
Yeah, a little bit rougher, but I have to deal with it every day through practice, So I feel like slowly getting used to, everything and adjusting to everything, especially during practices. Like that's how it is, So I guess I just gotta stick with it and play through it. You know, it's good. You know, it gets me better, it keeps me more mentally locked in, and um,
Got you. Thanks for that. Let's get to some more questions here. Okay, I see a few have come in. This is Enzo. Thanks for tuning in. Even if you were in the woods, did you see a bear? That's something interesting. If you saw a bear, if you hear from RC, another player is Jace Aking. I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing this right, Coach. Maybe you can help me. Aquiningok. Did I pronounce that right? Jace. How do you pronounce that?
You know what? I just say Jace A.
All
I'll
right.
give him the pronunciation.
What should the fans expect out of Jace A? Is he the one who committed to Latron?
He is, and as undersized as he is, he's very crafty. He's very smart with the game. He knows when to shoot the three ball. With more maturity down the road, he's going to be a great player. Hopefully down the road where where he can follow his dream, make the PBA. But right now, speaking to Coach Alan Ricardo, he called me up, gave me some positive feedback that Jason's going to do a good job running the floor for the Latran Knights. And Coach Ricardo, he's done a good job just being instrumental with his athletes, and I know he's going to do a good job with Jace moving forward.
Got you. Jacob, quick question. Do you think you can pronounce Jace's last name? Do you want to give it a try?
a king walk, a king walk. Uh,
Aquingok, Aquingok.
Akiningok is my guess, says Enzo. Let's see if that's correct in the future. He will be playing for Letron
Aquingok is my
in
guess.
the NCAA. Okay, some more questions here. This one's a good one for Coach Chris. Any updates in Caleb Harris and where he might be going after the NCAA ruling?
Yeah, with Kalen Harris, we're just simply sharing that, for us, we're here to support him in any possible way we can. Obviously, he's taking his first year of college basketball in the States, and hopefully, if things doesn't pan out, then he still has those options to play here in the Philippines. And hoping that he does, because, it'll bring back the five Musketeers together with with Jacob and Alex and Zane and Jaden Jones. So he's just a missing piece to the Five Musketeers, and I think if he does decide to come, I think that'll be a real big reunion for them five.
Got you, got you. Thanks for that. Jacob, question from Nico. I think this might be UP related. Have you been to A2 yet? Do you know what A2 is?
yeah, area two. Yeah, the little street with all the food, street food. Yeah, I've been
Yeah,
there.
yeah.
Yeah,
How is it? You like it?
yeah, it's good. But I heard not to eat it as much because like some of my teammates be getting like the stomach flu and like yeah, so I try to chill on that. So
All right, all right. Well, here's another good question from Mika. You mentioned that you recently had the chance to coach some kids from the UPOASD event. Did teaching and coaching these kids teach you anything that you will bring to your game?
just continue to have like that positive mentality and approach to my teammates and just basketball and just bringing it to my team because when I like tried to hype up those kids, just teach them stuff with a smile and with good energy, I feel like that translates to the basketball court and my teammates. Yeah.
Fantastic. Enzo does say you gotta acclimate your stomach to the street food in the Philippines, Jacob. Once you're in the Philippines, get your stomach a little bit on the stronger side of things. You might be finding some challenges. But while we are on that topic, Coach Chris, I should ask you, is there a specific program or routine that you use to train players who plan to go to the Philippines rather than players who look to play in the United States because of the different lifestyle in this country and because of the different style of play in the Philippines?
You know what? We as an organization, we don't do a lot of the training aspect of it. We do more of the coaching side of things. But I think our biggest asset to these young men and women is that we expose them to that environment as they participate with us, especially when they come to these events here in the Philippines. So coming at a young age, at the age of 12, 13, 14, 15, all the way up to 18 years old, I think we'll give them a better understanding they're going to understand when they do decide to play here in the Philippines. So ultimately, it just takes year after year to just try to experience the Philippines. Just like for Jacob, I mean, when he decided to play for the national team, that gave him a huge wake up call to say to himself, you know what, I got to get my body right. I got to hit the weight room. So we allow these kids to kind of figure that out on their own, along with their personal trainers, the personal coaches that are giving those health tips to get stronger and bigger. But overall, our job as an organization is just to put them in that guidance of understanding what Philippine basketball is like physically, mentally, and emotionally.
Got you. Interesting note on that. What are some of the challenges you tend to hear from guys who go to the Philippines from the US? I know some of them at first when they think about playing basketball or any other sport here, they're very excited, right? They think that they're gonna come here, they're gonna have a great time, make some new friends, make new memories, maybe dominate in their respective sport. And then some of them kind of come here and they get hit with a splash of reality where the lifestyle is different, the people are different, the community and social aspect of it are so different, the sport are so different, the sports are so different. So what are some of the usual reactions you get from the people who might get a little homesick a few weeks or months after they arrive in the Philippines?
Yeah, I think the biggest obstacle for a lot of athletes is just being able to adapt to the type of food that they're eating here in the Philippines. The nutrition, right? It's a little different. As you know, in the U.S., everything's times 10, when it comes to, their beverages, their food qualities, being able to eat big steaks and a lot of chicken. But for the most part, family side, because, there's our families that don't have a big family in the city of Manila. Most of those families are coming from the provinces. So those two things are what I found the biggest challenges for a lot of our young kids entering Manila for the first time. But I think now that there's more Phil-Am talent, Phil-Canadian talent, Phil-Australian talent, now we're building a community where they can all kind of get together and just see themselves and say, hey, you know what? We're all here together doing the same thing. Now I'm at a comfort level. Now I see that, okay, I still got to work and do my thing as a basketball athlete. And everything else will just kind of take its course, But I feel like once they see themselves with other athletes, like, where Jacob is in his situation is, where he knows his friends are there, then I think it makes it much easier with the process.
Interesting. Good question here from Sir Boss. Chris, who is the next batch of recruits you have coming in for Phil-Am Nation next year?
Oh man, great question. You know what? We'll know this August 1st to the 4th. I mean, the global summit is big. We're expecting 350 athletes from all over the world. The event is sold out. Some are actually having FOMO, trying to register and still be part of it. And we just gotta tell them like, hey, you know what? You missed out. But my partner Rodell, he has a list of that. He's the one that keeps track of our data when it comes to the batch of recruits that are up and coming this year. And again, my job is to speak to these athletes and kind of groom them to prepare mentally as they go into the Philippine mindset of the game. But yeah, I'm really kind of intrigued myself to see what the next batch is. I mean, obviously in the NBTC, we've shown a handful of those. We had Sean De La Pena that was out in the NBTC that played. We had Bass Margate that also participated. We had Sanderson. I mean, we had a handful of athletes, and I know more and more are out there, and that's the reason why we create these events to identify those talent and hope to educate them about Philippine basketball.
And are you going to be inviting some coaches from the Philippines as well to come attend?
Yes, so we're hoping to invite a lot of these, college institutions, but I know a lot of them are, underway with their season. So some of them will be sending their assistant coaches, or perhaps some of their past alumni who are in the area of Chicago that perhaps can just relay the information about the athlete that could potentially be interested in playing in the Philippines. But overall, I mean, our biggest event after August, as we kind of dive our way into the year, is our high school showcase. Those and that's the event where majority of all the colleges come in to really expect the best talent for their next recruiting class.
Interesting. Okay, let's get Jacob here. We have a question from Mika. Jacob, what's your favorite UP chant so far?
I only know one as of now. It's the Universidad Filipina. That one. Yeah, that's my favorite one because that's the only one I know.
Have you ever seen a crowd support you in a game like the UP crowd does? And so far, you've only really seen the Phil oil side of things, not even yet the UAAP while you're playing in the game. But have you ever kind of experienced that kind of crowd support?
Not really. I'll be honest. Like the gym at my school is pretty small, so it would be packed, but not like to the brim like the Phil Oil. Like so, yeah, probably gonna be for sure exciting, and it's being a lot of people. It's
Got
exciting.
you. I actually got a message from Bea, a UP fan, before today's stream, and there's a question from an account called Bayla Verse who wants to know, Jacob, can you say hi to the Bayla Verse people? And that's the first thing. And number two, is that your preferred name for your fan club? I mean, people want to make a fan club for you now here in the UP community, and they're wondering if Baylaverse would be a suitable nickname for that. What do you think?
Baylaverse. I don't know. I don't know. I've never had like a like a like a Instagram named after me, but we'll think about it. I'll let you know, Baylaverse. We can change it up, but I just want to say thank you for all your support and continue to keep on supporting me and the team.
All right. Well, that's something that's a work in progress, a
Work
working
in progress.
title.
Work in
You'll
progress.
be seeing some Veilaverse Instagram, Twitter accounts soon enough, I'm sure. Good question here from Sir Boss Jacob. How many coaches does UP have, and could you name all of them?
We have a lot of coaches. Our coaching staff is pretty deep too, as well. A lot of good coaches. I can't name all of them right now, but soon I can. It's a lot.
All right. Well, you do. You guys actually might have the most coaches in the
I'll give
Philippine
you one.
collegiate
Coach
scene.
Gold.
Wow, that was a tough one, I'm sure. But thank you, Jacob. Another question here from RC, or rather a statement. Jacob, you gotta try the isaw and barbecue at Mang Larry's. Have you tried those
Okay.
yet? Isaw and
I've
barbecue?
tried the esau and barbecue before, but not at Mung Larry's. So maybe I need to go to Mung Larry's. So
I
for
you
sure, I'll put
definitely
that on
need
my
to
notes.
you definitely need to try Roddick Stapa and Nomu. I think it's Nomu, the milk tea next to it. Those
Okay.
are really good stuff. You
Okay.
Roddick
I got
Stapa is a staple, yeah, for
products.
sure.
Okay.
Exactly. Baylaverse wants to know, what's your course. Am I right, Jacob? It's sports management,
Sports science.
sports science. So that's Jacob's course at UP right now. Well, good question here from Mika. By the way, everyone, we have about 3 minutes left with Jacob and Coach Chris. So if you want to ask your questions, feel free to send them in now. Mika wants to ask Jacob, is being considered a celebrity something that still needs a lot of adjusting to? Is it weird at times? And what's the difference of the popularity you've seen for yourself here compared to the United States?
To answer the last question, the difference between the popular here versus in the States, I just feel like since I'm like on the collegiate side of basketball here, like I guess my name is like starting to, just pop up a little bit. But yeah, for sure, definitely the support here is like crazy, and I like it. It's different, and I never really considered like being a celebrity because I'm just starting up, and I'm just me. I don't really want to call myself that yet, and I don't really plan to intend calling myself a celebrity. But it's not weird. It's just people sometimes to support people, and that's just how it is. I never really thought about that like that.
Got you. Well, thanks for letting us know the answer to that. Anyway, Jacob, we have a few more questions here. What's your favorite hangout spot so far at University of the Philippines?
Ramen
Ah,
UP Town,
okay.
UP Town,
Ram.
Ramen
Yes,
that's
sir.
yeah, favorite hangout spot for sure.
Ramenagi.
After
Ramen's never a
practice, we
bad.
just go to Ramen order the ramen.
Well, for Bailaverse here, the question you've asked, what was the photo shoot earlier? It was actually for Converge. So stay tuned for that. I'm sure something will come out on that soon. Good question here from Chong. Chong wants to ask, how old did you start playing basketball, Jacob?
I started playing basketball 7 or 8 years old. Just picked up a basketball by myself, and I liked it. It was fun, and it just started from there.
Got you, got you. Question here from Sir Boss. Who is better, Mason Amos or Alex Konov right now?
I don't know. I haven't seen either of them play in a while, but they both have similar play styles. Like they both like stretch four, can shoot the ball. But I'm gonna have to go with my guy Alex.
Oh, of course, got.
Mason's my guy too, but I haven't seen Mason in a while, so I'm gonna go with
And
my
you
guy
won't
Alex. Yeah,
and you might not get to see Mason until 2025
right.
in the UAAP. Exactly. Let's see. Oh, good question here. Jacob, what are your rankings of the UAAP schools this season based on what you've seen so far from the preseason? If you had to rank it 1 to 8.
Well, I didn't really get to see like some of the teams actually. I only got to see like the teams I played against. I just say UP LaSalle for now, and then I'm gonna have to go FEU. Put FEU in there, and that's the only like three schools that really like stood out for me.
Interesting.
I
Interesting.
didn't
Yes.
really see NU or Adam. Oh, we played Adamson, but I didn't really see NU or UST yet, so I didn't really get to.
Got you. Question here first from Sir Boss for me, Naveen. Who will win Rookie of the Year? Right now, I would have to say, because the Rookie of the Year and the MVP awards are statistically based, meaning there's a formula to determine this. So a lot of that factors points, rebounds, and minutes, of course, because the more minutes you play, the more stats you accumulate. So because of that, right now, I might have to say Rookie of the Year will come down to either VJ Pre or Zayn Mahmood, just because I think they're going to get a lot of touches and playing time the most. What do you think, Jacob? Who do you think wins Rookie of the Year this year?
I do see VJ Pre, but anything can happen. This is just like we're only in July right now. Anything can happen during the season, and just give it up to God. Like stars will align, anything can happen.
Of course, of course. All right, guys, we have about a minute here left with Jacob. I'm going to try to get to as many questions as I can. Just to answer this, RC, yes, Jacob is in close contact with his fellow Fil-Am Nation players. His close friends in particular are guys like Jaden Jones, Zayn Mahmood, Sean Alter, his teammate, Alex Konov, and of course, some of the other guys coming in too. He's also teammates now with QMB. And for those wondering where Coach Chris is, he's working through some Wi-Fi stuff right now. So hopefully we have him back before we end this. Good question here from Enzo. We'll end with this question from Enzo. Jacob, can you name the other four guys in your team that I'm not going to use the word prefer, but the four guys who you think you fit in with the most when you're playing with them on the court for UP?
Well, in practice, I really like having my guys. We're like separated into like different groups. Just I like having my guys. John Felicita, Raylan. I'm gonna have to go with my guy Mark, and then QMB. Because that we really like been practicing together against like the first group with my Harold, with Jerry. It's just always fun to compete, and our chemistry is definitely going up. And I like playing with them because they talk me through it, especially like QMB, Raylan, and John. They always talk to me before every play. Make sure I'm in the right place at the right time.
Fantastic. Happy to hear you're getting along well with your teammates. And Jacob, thanks for joining me today. I'd like to thank some of the new spectators who joined the stream today, such as Chong, the Bayla verse. Apparently, that's now catching some momentum for the official Jacob Bayla fan club. I see Josh Grisata in the house. And of course, Tita Eve, thanks for tuning in the whole way. Thanks to our regulars like Karina, like Enzo, like Mika, and RC. And I'm sure I'm missing a few others. Sir Boss, thanks for joining the stream. Appreciate your time, Jacob. I appreciate the time of Coach Chris while he was here. This was a great conversation. And best of luck, Jacob. I'm sure you're preparing hard for the UAAP season. And I can't wait to see what you have in store for all of us once you start playing in the UAAP.
Thank you, Naveen. Thank you for everyone that was watching. I appreciate it, and God bless and stay safe. Thank you, guys.
God bless. Stay safe too, Jacob. Thank you so much and see you soon.